Decoding the Hidden Symbolism in the Book of Revelation. Part 1. Introduction. Planting the Seeds of Mystery. Welcome, seekers of ancient truths, to a journey through shadows and whispers, where the flickering candlelight reveals more than darkness. Tonight, we turn our gaze to a scroll shrouded in enigma, a testament of visions that has captivated and perplexed generations. The Book of Revelation. It is a text often approached with trepidation, its pages teeming with creatures of myth and cataclysmic events, leading many to dismiss it as mere apocalyptic fantasy. But what if, beneath the surface of its startling imagery, lies a profound tapestry of divine messages, a language of symbols crafted to convey eternal truths? What if Revelation is not a literal blueprint of the future, but rather a masterwork of ancient allegories, waiting to be deciphered? Join us as we venture beyond the literal, promising to unveil the hidden symbols and deeper spiritual meanings woven into the very fabric of this awe-inspiring book. Part 2. The Deep Dive, a Journey of Discovery. A. The historical context, apocalypse in the Roman shadow. To truly grasp the Book of Revelation, we must first transport ourselves to its birthright, the tumultuous world of the late 1st century AD. It was a time when the nascent Christian community found itself increasingly at odds with the colossal power of the Roman Empire. Nero's persecutions, though brief, left an indelible mark, and by the time John, the presumed author, penned his visions from exile on Patmos, the specter of Roman dominance loomed large. This was an empire that demanded absolute loyalty, even divine worship of its emperors, a direct challenge to the monotheistic faith of Christians. Revelation, therefore, emerged from a crucible of persecution and profound uncertainty. It was not merely a prophecy, but a message of hope and resilience, intended to strengthen believers facing hardship and potential martyrdom. The cryptic language and symbolic imagery served a dual purpose: to communicate vital spiritual truths to the initiated, while shielding the message from Roman censors, who would have readily suppressed any overt anti-imperial literature. Understanding this context, the clash of empires, the burgeoning faith, and the threat of persecution is paramount to unlocking its symbolic code. B. Decoding the Scripture, unveiling the language of symbols. The genius of Revelation lies in its prolific use of symbolism, a language both alien and deeply familiar to those steeped in Old Testament prophecy. Let us delve into some of its most iconic symbols, demonstrating how they resonate with established biblical motifs and convey profound theological statements. Consider the Lamb that was slain, Revelation 5-6. This is not merely a literal animal, but a powerful Christological symbol. Rooted in the Passover Lamb of Exodus and the suffering servant of Isaiah, it portrays Jesus as both sacrificial victim and triumphant conqueror. The 7 horns and 7 eyes further emphasize his perfect power and all-seeing wisdom, a stark contrast to the earthly beasts of empire. Then there is the infamous beast from the sea, Revelation 13:1, often interpreted as a future Antichrist figure. However, in its historical context, this beast, with its 7 heads and 10 horns, echoes the 4 beasts in Daniel 7, representing successive oppressive empires. For John's audience, the 7 heads would have likely signified the succession of Roman emperors, and the 10 horns, the various client kings or provinces under Rome's dominion. It symbolized the oppressive, blasphemous power of the Roman Empire, demanding worship and persecuting God's people. The great prostitute, Babylon the Great, Revelation 17:1-6, further elucidates this anti-imperial stance. Draped in purple and scarlet, adorned with gold and precious stones, she sits on many waters, symbolizing her widespread influence. This imagery directly evokes ancient Babylon, the oppressor of Israel, but in John's time, it was an unmistakable allegory for Rome, the opulent, idolatrous, and persecuting capital. The wine of her fornications represents the seductive allure of pagan idolatry and imperial power that led nations astray. Even the numbers in Revelation carry symbolic weight. 7 consistently denotes completeness or perfection, For example, 7 churches, 7 seals, 7 trumpets, 7 bowls, echoing the 7 days of creation and the Sabbath. 4 often represents the earth or universality, for example, 4 living creatures, 4 winds, 4 corners of the earth. 12 signifies God's people, for example. 12 tribes of Israel, 12 apostles, often multiplied, as in the 144,000, representing the totality of God's faithful. The number 6, often seen in 666, symbolizes imperfection, falling short of God's perfect 7, and is frequently associated with human rebellion and the beastly nature. This numeric language is not random. It is a deliberate system of communication. C. The hidden theological meaning, cosmic conflict and divine sovereignty. Beyond the historical critiques, Revelation delivers profound theological insights into the nature of God, humanity, and the cosmic struggle between good and evil. It presents a world caught in an ultimate spiritual warfare, but one where God's sovereignty remains absolute. The constant imagery of heaven, the throne, the elders, the angelic hosts, serves to affirm God's control over all earthly events. Even amidst chaos and persecution, the heavenly court is actively engaged, orchestrating history towards its divine conclusion. The seals, trumpets, and bowls are not random acts of destruction, but divinely appointed judgments, demonstrating God's justice and His ultimate authority over creation and human empires. Furthermore, Revelation underscores the triumph of the suffering Lamb. It is through His sacrifice that victory is secured, not through earthly might or military conquest. This profound truth would have been a powerful counter-narrative to the Roman obsession with power and conquest, reminding believers that true victory comes through faithfulness, even unto death. The martyrs, though seemingly defeated in the eyes of the world, are depicted as reigning with Christ, their blood testifying to His ultimate triumph. The book also paints a vivid picture of the ultimate hope, the new heaven and new earth, and the new Jerusalem. Revelation 21-22. This is not just an escape from a fallen world, but a renewal, a restoration of paradise where God dwells intimately with His people. It speaks to the ultimate purpose of creation and redemption, a harmonious existence free from pain, sorrow, and evil. This vision of renewal offers comfort and a steadfast hope in the face of despair, reminding believers that their ultimate destiny is not earthly suffering but eternal fellowship with God. D. Controversies and theories, a spectrum of interpretation. Few books of the Bible have generated as much debate and diverse interpretation as Revelation. Its enigmatic nature has led to various schools of thought, each attempting to unravel its mysteries. The preterist view suggests that most of Revelation's prophecies were fulfilled in the 1st century AD, primarily during the Jewish-Roman War and the fall of Jerusalem, and the persecution under the Roman Empire. This perspective emphasizes the book's immediate relevance to its original audience. In contrast, the historicist view sees Revelation as a symbolic outline of church history from the 1st century until the Second Coming. Adherents of this view often attempt to match specific symbols and events with historical figures and periods, from the papacy to the Protestant Reformation. The futurist view, perhaps the most popular in modern evangelical circles, interprets most of Revelation, particularly chapters 4-22, as describing future events leading up to the end times, the second coming of Christ, and the establishment of His millennial kingdom. This perspective often involves elaborate timelines and detailed predictions. Finally, the idealist or spiritual view understands Revelation as a timeless allegory of the ongoing spiritual struggle between good and evil, the triumph of Christ, and the ultimate victory of God's kingdom. It emphasizes the universal principles and theological truths without tying them to specific historical events or future predictions. Each view offers valuable insights, yet none can claim absolute certainty. The ongoing debate highlights the book's enduring complexity and its capacity to speak to different generations in varied contexts, inviting continuous theological reflection and humble inquiry rather than dogmatic assertion. Part 3. Conclusion. An echo of eternity. As our candlelight flickers, drawing our journey through Revelation to a close, we stand before a tapestry far richer and more intricate than mere apocalyptic dread. We have seen how its symbols, rooted deeply in ancient scripture and forged in the fires of persecution, speak not only of warning but of profound hope. The beast from the sea and the great prostitute reveal the seductive and destructive power of earthly empires, while the Lamb that was slain and the New Jerusalem illuminate the unwavering sovereignty of God and the ultimate triumph of his redemptive plan. The book of Revelation, therefore, is not merely a cryptic prediction of a distant future, but a timeless call to faithfulness, resilience, and hope in the face of darkness. It reminds us that even when chaos seems to reign, a divine order is at work, and that ultimate victory belongs to the Lamb. What then does this cosmic drama whisper to our own souls today, in a world still grappling with injustice, power, and the longing for renewal? Does it not beckon us to look beyond the surface, to discern the eternal truths hidden in plain sight, and to live with an unwavering faith in the ultimate promise of a new heaven and a new earth? The symbols may be ancient, but their echo resonates with an eternal truth, inviting us to find our place within God's unfolding